are listening to the Pathfinder Guru Podcast, where we help you to become a greater leader. Join us as we take the Advent message to all the world in our generation. So, are you ready to become a guru in this ministry?
Attention! Welcome to the Pathfinder Guru Podcast. I hope that you're doing well and you're safe under the shadow of God's wonderful wings. In today's episode, we are going to talk about things we overlook in child safety. There are certain things that we overlook which we think are small, but in the long run may cause trouble and may lead children into serious problems in the future. And I want us to talk about these things. Yes, we know them. Yes, we think that they are easy things. But once you do not take careful consideration of these things, you will end up in a serious problem. Now, when we are talking about child safety, I want us to talk about transportation. Transportation, when we are going to Pathfinder fairs, when we are going to camporee, when we are going to excursions as a club, we need to take into careful consideration of transportation that takes us from point A to point B. And the things that we need to take note of is that when we are hiring somebody or a company that is going to take our children from point A to point B, the things that we need to take into consideration is the car. Is the car roadworthy? Is the car in good standards? Is the car safe for travel? Those are questions that you need to ask yourself. Most of the time, we hire cars which are not roadworthy, cars which have faults, cars which have problems. But these are questions that you need to ask. These are questions that you need to find out. Sometimes you need even to draw up a contract, draw up something that will protect you as an individual. And show, not even as an individual, as a church, as an organization, so that you are doing things in a correct way. Check the driver. Does the driver have a driver's license? Does he have a permit to ensure that he or she is traveling or can travel with goods or people? Those are things that you need to check, because you find yourself that people here are just looking for money and they do not have the relevant permits to do the relevant job. Once you do all those things, doing your due diligence, so to say, your due diligence, it becomes much more easy. But if you are not going to do those things, it becomes difficult for you to even take children. If something happens and they check the vehicle, they check the driver, then they will ask you, what happened? Did you check these things? Did you ensure that these things are in place? But because we just love to get the cheapest, and without checking, it leads us to problems. It leads us to big problems that we have in the ministry. And also, who is traveling with the children? Remember that no one can travel with children. You can be a church member, but you may also not be allowed to work with children. This implies that even if you have people that are willing to travel with children to go to an excursion, to go anywhere, if they are not members of the club, they are not allowed. If they are not parents, you need to ensure that that safety is taken care of. Even when you're going to drop off these children at a house, ensure that there are always two people in the car. There are people in the car ensuring that when you drop off children, there's two people in the car. And when you're dropping them off, you're asking parents, who will I find at home? Who will be there at home? Because something will happen that you drop off a child at the gate, then you leave. Then what happens is that the child knocks at the gate. The parents cannot hear that there's a child at the gate. The child wanders off. Something happens to the child and you need to give account. Because we will say, no, we left them with you. We left them with you. And you will say we dropped them. You dropped him or her off at the gate. But that does not matter. We did not hear the child. It's your word against them. So ensure that you find out who is at home. Don't leave a child with anyone else who is at home. Find out from the parent, who will I find home? Who will be comfortable to stay at home? Ensure that those things are done properly. Because child safety is very much important. Yes, you may find people who are interested, no, I'll take children, I'll drop them off. He's a church member or he's somebody else. No, I'll drop children off. You are tired as a director. Hey, the child lives on the other side of the block and you are living on this side of the block and the parent is living on the same side with the children and you say, no, you can take the children. Do not do that. Especially if it's somebody that is somebody that you cannot trust. If it's not a club member, don't do that to yourself. Rather sacrifice your time. Take the children, go with the driver and walk home if you have to. Take an Uber or something. But ensure that child safety is protected, because you can have church members, but they are not allowed to work with children because of certain reasons behind that. Hence, when you are working with children, there's a clearance that you need to perform. You need to have a background check that is done so that you are clear. You do not have any child-related crimes. And to be safe, ensure that all those things are in order. We are living in a time whereby it's dangerous. Even when working with church members, it's very much important that you as a director need to play a crucial role in ensuring that children are safe. But if you're going to just take it, this is just a member, you are going to find yourself in serious problems. You are going to find yourself in problems where you need to give account, when you need to answer to say, we left the children with you. What happened? So to protect yourself, ensure that the car is roadworthy. Ensure that the driver is able to travel with people, travel with goods, and has a specific permit for that. Ensure that the persons that are traveling with children are people who are qualified to travel with children, are people who have a good background checks, who are in good standing with that. Because at the end of the day, you will give account, both at the church level and at the state level. You will give account, because there are certain laws that protect children. And if you're not going to take serious consideration of those things, you will find yourself having to do jail time, having to give account because of your negligence in doing that. Let us be informed. Let us stay protected. Let us protect the children that we are leading, because at the end of the day, we are in the world. Whether in the church, we are in the world. And we need to take certain and crucial precautions to ensure that children are safe under the shadow of God's wonderful wings. But for now, as you ponder upon this, thinking about it, putting things in place, reading the church manual, doing the child protection course about it, you are dismissed.